everyone. Hello and welcome to ET Now Startup Central, the first and only daily show in India that's dedicated to startups and entrepreneurship. I'm Avanta Bash. Well, we have a power-packed show lined up for you today. The last week saw heightened action in the online world, with Diwali sales being the talk of the town, from discounts to great deals, and we got you all the action. Time now for the verdict: who sold what and who exactly won the race. So we have all of that lined up, but before we get to it, there's no way that you want to miss this. Microsoft CEO Satya Nadela, our very own Made in India global talent, is now an author. He's got his new book, Hit Refresh, officially launched at the company's Ignite conference, where Nadella becomes one of the few sitting CEOs to openly pen a book while still at the top job. In the book, in his early life on India, the company, he talks about the ongoing transformation as well as the coming wave of technology. We have this interesting bit of conversation that the author had with author and journalist Walter Isaacson on his life here in India and his love for cricket. Meantime, let's get you a big exclusive voice on the show. Homegrown player Flipkart has staked its claim at being the #1 player yet again. It says it got over 70% market share this festive season with the big billion-day sale, and they witnessed a twofold rise compared to last year. Rahul Dayama caught up with Kalyan Krishnamurth, the CEO of Flipkart, in his first TV interview ever. Here's a look.
Kalyan, thank you so much for taking out the time and talking to us on ET Now. We've been chasing you for months and finally glad that we get to talk to you. I have to ask you, big billion day sale for Flipkart and also for the e-commerce sector is actually a big event. Take us through what have really been the key highlights this time.
Thank you so much for covering us. Actually, I would say more than Flipkart and more than e-commerce, I think the Big Billion Day has become a countrywide event for the retail sector in India. Actually, the Big Billion Day kicks off the festival shopping season in India, and we were very glad that we kicked it off on the 20th. It lasted for 5 days. Very exciting 5 days. We are very happy with the results. The way we look at our business is actually through the lens of a customer. So most important metrics for us are customer metrics. We are very glad that most of our customer metrics actually doubled versus last year. Customer count, the repeats of customers, new customers, all of those metrics have actually done extremely well for us. Most of the categories which we have led with, including categories like fashion, smartphones, appliances, home and kitchen, electronic devices, all of them have actually gained disproportionate share during the event. So we are very happy about it. Obviously, the building is a bit tired of the event right now, so people are taking a break today, but very exciting.
All right. You know, in terms of categories, you mentioned large appliances, mobiles, and fashion lots. So we've seen this even the previous year, the last 2 years. So, you know, is that something that you had anticipated? These categories are the ones that would really drive demand this year as well?
Actually, see, the way Flipkart builds any kind of a product initiative or category is through fundamentally solving for it for the customer. So we just don't decide on launching a category and launch it in 2 months. So we decided to launch furniture as a category, for example, about a year back. We just launched it like 2 weeks back. So it has taken about 11 months for us to go live with the category. Next year, you'll actually see a much bigger impact coming from categories like furniture, right? So as I was saying, so today's categories are these 4 or 5 big categories which we have led with, but we are a horizontal platform. We'll actually play in each and every category. As the years go, you'll see a lot more categories coming in and us becoming a clear market leader in those categories as well.
Got it. Also, Kalyan, you know, any specific trend that you have noticed that has stood out from the previous sale, because you're manning the previous sale as well this year? What has really transitioned? You were, when we're talking, mentioned about the prepaid orders really going up significantly.
See, before that, I'll just share something else with you that, you know, there has been talk in the market that the market in the e-commerce market is growing at 50%, 60%. I just want to share that, you know, these numbers should not limit anybody's ambitions in the market today. This is a very good example. An event of this kind of a scale we pulled off with these kind of growth numbers. So I think we should all be very embracing of the fact that the market is actually really big. The growth numbers will be way bigger than what people have been talking about. Specifically, actually, we've seen a big jump in prepaid transactions. Last year, less than 50% of our transactions were checked out on prepaid. This time, it's just less than 60%. A very good jump we've seen. Other trends, I would say, tier 2, tier 3 cities, contribution to the total mix continues to increase. Actually, last year, I think it was in the 50-something range. We've seen a 5 percentage point increase in that number as well. These are some of the trends we've noticed this time.
Definitely exciting times for the e-commerce space. Kalyan, I have to ask you, I was also talking to your team while the Big Billion Day kicked off, and they told me the clear mandate from Kalyan is that we need to have a 70-30 lead compared to competition. Also, the competition in itself, the sale happened at the same time. Has the team in that sense delivered on that promise of 70-30 lead? Has that happened this time?
Yeah, I would say, in India right now, there is no clear ways to measure market share, but from whatever we are able to triangulate, I would say it's at least 70%. In many categories, we've actually had a disproportionate share. Categories like fashion, smartphones, electronic devices, these categories we've had, I personally believe, obviously there is a bit of a bias there, it's well over 70%. And overall, customer share, customer wallet share, clearly north of 70% is what we've seen.
Okay, let's move away from that and our focus, the battle of the e-commerce giants on Startup Central. So let's bring on board then our Power Pack lineup. We have Arvind Singhal, CMD Technopack, joining in from New Delhi, and Mrigank Gutya, who is the head consumer internet at Red Sneer, who is joining in as well. Red Sneer rather. And thank you so much, gentlemen, for being with us. I'm going to start off with you, Mr. Singhal. As someone who tracks this space fairly closely, have the sales online surprised you?
Not really. I think there's a very, very clear momentum as far as online retail is concerned. It's been there for many years. And I think this year it has been a good omen that Flipkart is very well funded. They raised significant amount of money. Paytm has thrown his hat into the ring as well. And of course, Amazon is still trying to be, if not number one, at least a very, very close number two. So at least three major players all starting together as far as the sale is concerned, putting mega bucks behind it. It has only given more momentum. But that was to be expected this season, and not only in the last 4 days, but I think over the next 6 months to 1 year, we will see very intense battle for share of the mind, share of the wallet as well.
I'm going to come to you then and give us a sense as to how the online festival sales have panned out this year. Just put some numbers into perspective. Give us some, actual data that Red Seer has crunched out.
Right. So thanks a lot for having me here. So if I talk about this festive season, this has really been a landmark year for the e-commerce industry in every way possible. And what we have seen this year is that in a span of 5 days, the industry has managed to deliver a gross GMV of about 9,000 CR, which is really about more than 50% of what it had delivered in the same period last year. And considering all the doom and gloom about the industry that had been talked about at the end of last year, perhaps beginning this year, this is really a big achievement for the industry in the way that a lot of first-time shoppers, a lot of people who have never experienced e-commerce online, they have come online, they have bought in huge numbers, and all sorts of products from smartphones to fashion, appliances, all have done really well. So this is really a landmark for the industry and should set a very good base for the industry going forward as well.
Okay, so Mrigank, do you think we will, come to gross GMV in a while? Because the data that you seems to have crunched suggests that Flipkart has retained the top spot in this tough contested battle. What do you think really worked for them?
Right. So Red Seer conducted a small research right before the sales started, where we tracked amongst the consumers which are the brands, which are the sales events that they are aware of in a big way. And what our research showed very clearly is that the consumers are looking forward to the Flipkart sales by a wide margin compared to the competitors. So the way we look at it, there are 3 stages in the e-commerce pipeline. So you start off from bringing consumers on the platform, you give them good offers, and of course you deliver a superior shopping experience. So our understanding is that Flipkart did really well on the three parameters. Through its successful marketing, it was able to bring a much higher number of people to its platforms. Then via very attractive offers on smartphones, appliances and fashion, I think they were able to make those people convinced that they should buy online. And number three, once these people shopped online, they gave them a very superior delivery experience, app browsing experience. So these people were motivated to shop again and again. So I think together these three levers really helped Flipkart distance themselves from the competition and have their biggest sale performance ever.
Mr. Singhal, you heard Mrigank over there talking about how Flipkart has managed to retain the top spot, which comes on the back of massive funding as well that they secured from SoftBank. Where do you see this competition leading to, and how do you see this shaping up now? Do you think that it's the consumers that will benefit the most?
Well, for sure, absolutely no doubt that consumers are benefiting and will continue to benefit for many, many years. I would only want to say that I think the real battle for the share of the wallet as far as e-wallet is concerned is only just starting. So you have Amazon, you have Flipkart, you have Paytm, and I would see a lot of action from Paytm in the coming years. And I would also expect a lot of competition emerging by the time we talk about next year from Reliance. So when you have four really well-funded players, very, very competent, very capable players, in the market, I think the battle is not won yet, if at all. It will only intensify. Having said so, it is going to create far more problem for most other players, because like Mr. Kalyan just said a short while ago, they are looking into entering into every category. Amazon itself is looking into becoming almost completely category agnostic. That makes life very, very difficult for companies which have been focused on a single category or a single vertical. So may not be that good a time for specialists, but certainly I think a very, very good time for consumers by and large.
Yes, stay with us, gentlemen. You're going to come right back, Mr. Singhal, as well as Mrigank, to talk about the online sales war. We'll talk on the other side about some of the smaller players, new customers, and what really is the outlook when it comes to market share. Stay with us. Don't go anywhere. This is Startup Central. Great to have you back with us. This is Startup Central. We're talking about the war of the online players, and we're in conversation with Mrigank Gutkutia as well as Arvind Singhal. And Mrigank, just to get right back to you, talk about market share, because for Flipkart, you've pegged the market share at about 58%, but they claim 70% lead. It seems like the gap between the top two players is only increasing now.
Right. So I think if you look at let's say numbers, we have shared that Flipkart has about 58% share, and compared to that Amazon has about 26%. So if you look at the relative ratio between Flipkart and Amazon, it is still it's about 2.2, 2.3 times. And compared to last year, of course, I think the gap was much narrower. Our understanding is that the three factors that we mentioned about how Flipkart has been able to do, from bringing the consumers to offers and the experience, on all those three factors, the extent of domination was such that I think competitors like Amazon, they were not able to sort of gain as much consumer mind share or the consumer wallet share as they would have liked. And I think last year there was a bit of situation where Flipkart did not have so much of a funding firepower to spend on the discount. So I think that is the one big change that has happened this year. There has been a lot of operational changes which have given them a smooth delivery experience, smooth app experience. So I think starting from the last festive season, all the developments that Flipkart has been able to do, combined with their successful marketing and discount, together that has given them the firepower to beat competition handily this time around, in our understanding.
Just going to come to you then, Mr. Singhal, in terms of categories for both the players, we're seeing, mobiles as well as large appliances, fashion, they really seem to be leading the chart, and a lot of this has been led by discounting. How long do you think this strategy can go on?
I think it is not likely to work for a very long time. As we all know, especially on mobile phones and to some extent consumer electronics, the margins available from the brands and manufacturers are very, very minuscule. And even when you're looking into specialized launches, I think increasingly the margins available to the platform are reducing. Fashion as a category certainly offers better margin, but it is only as much you can sell fashion online today. I personally think that we haven't seen the full extent of competition yet. It is my personal belief it has been like this for almost 2 years. The real battle in India would be fought and won in the food and grocery space. So right now we see very, very initial steps from Amazon. Flipkart was there for some time, did not sort of enjoy it. Probably they're looking at it once again. You have Big Basket and Grofers to some extent. So I think that when you look into 5 years from now, probably the largest category after mobile phones and consumer electronics will actually be food and grocery, and clothing and lifestyle probably third or fourth. That's the way I see it panning out.
All right, I'm afraid we're completely out of time. It's definitely been an encouraging discussion talking about some of the trends that we've seen, the overall market share, as well as what the outlook is, because it seems like customers are the ones who are definitely on the winning side of this overall battle. Mr. Singhal, as well as Mrigank, lovely having you with us on Startup Central on ET Now. Thank you for taking time and joining us. With that, it's a wrap right here on the show. Hope you enjoyed that discussion. We've got Startup Central tomorrow, same time, same place. Stay tuned.